What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Devlin Del Fuego, and today we are going over house numbers and RPPs. We did go over RPPs on the last episode a little bit, but today we're going in more in depth on the two and when to use one and when to use the other one. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, as you guys can see, we are over here in a residential area. You can see we have some house numbers right here for these ones, and we have some non-house numbers right here because someone hasn't done them yet. So for this example, we're going over when to use house numbers. So if you can see, house numbers are right here, and these house numbers pretty much have like a line that goes boop right there. It connects to that road right there, boop right there. Okay, that's when you would want to use a house number. But let's say we have a house kind of like this, but this house for some reason has an address to Upridge Drive and not Upridge Court. What do? Do you add a house number that connects this? Which you could. Or would you add the house number to this one, which would be incorrect because it's not a court, it's a drive. So for this example, if this house number was linked to this one, we would use an RPP. We take the RPP, like so, we attach it right there, and we type in all the address information, but for the stop point, we would add it to the driveway right here, saying it's right there. So the address links is for this one, the address is for this street right here, but the stop point is right here. So when Waze directs the person from this way or this way, it won't stop right here because that's not exactly where the driveway is. The driveway is right here. So it would boop right there. Well, it would just stop right here. Technically, it wouldn't go up into the driveway, but it'd stop at the driveway. That's the stop point. That's where you want to stick it. But that's the only time if you have a house that has an address on the corner and it's on the other side of the corner and you want to route them around to the extra driveway, because when you link the house numbers to the houses, the line should connect right where the driveway or the mailbox is on the road. That's where you want the stop point, is at the mailbox or the driveway. So for that example, that's what we would do there. All right, get rid of that one. Now, for over here, you see we have apartment buildings. These apartment buildings have no house numbers, but if they did, more than likely it'd be linked to Low Ridge Drive. So if you put a house number here, if we go in house numbers, edit house numbers, okay, and you edit a house, say for this one, it'll say like 1111. And you see that point right there? You hit that point, see, it tells you right there, this is exactly the line in which is connected to that road. It doesn't stop at the parking lot road. It doesn't connect to this part of the parking lot road. It connects to this specific road because this is the road it's connected to. Parking lot roads we don't name because then it causes the issue with the routing and everything and how everything is laid out. So we leave the parking lot roads unnamed, but we leave the main local streets or the public streets or whatever street it is type with the name and everything. That's where we link everything to, but we don't link it to the parking lot road. Now, since this is an apartment complex and they do need to go up into the parking lot road to get over here, because you just don't want them to stop over here. If you zoom in, you can see there's like grass and stuff here, so they're going to stop right here and they're like, oh, well, I should have turned right to get up to here. Then apartment complexes like this is the exception where you can exit out of house route, out of houses. This is when you would add a RPP and add to say right here, because then what it would do, it'll link this one to right here. So it'll tell it the stop point is right here. So it will tell people to either go this way or this way, and they'll come up and they'll actually drive up to here to get to this house. And then you'd add the number and the other stuff right here. That's how you would do that. So then it would make sure that the routing is correct to this apartment complex number. That's the only time you want to add RPP, is it's either for an apartment complex that's going up into a parking lot road, or if it's a house that's on the corner, that the driveway is on the offside, like this. Say, for instance, like this one is probably here is an example too, where the apartment or townhouse probably has an address to Upridge Drive, but the driveway is on Crossridge Lane. That would be that's why you would need to have it here because they would have to come down and get the driveway to the townhouse right here. But any other time, if the house is sitting on the main street, you use a normal house number. Now, there's one other caveat, and a lot of people don't see it. When you're adding a house number, when you're first adding a house number, let me go back, and you edit a house number. That right here, 1111. You add it in there like that. When people they just keep spamming, just say like, because H is like the hotkey, so we'll put like H here, put 112, and then like 113 and stuff like that, and it's all attached to that. But sometimes, okay, well, it's not doing it on this one, but sometimes if we it'd be like this, where this street is the same name as this street, but it only the Waze only selects points up to a certain extent. It doesn't select all the segments of the same name. And sometimes it stops. And what happens is that stopping point, people might be like, okay, well, this address belongs to here, but when they add the house number over here, say like 115 or something like that, they either get, okay, well, it's still connected to this one because it's the same name and everything, but they don't realize that the segment isn't selected on this side for this part. So when you actually look at it, it's actually connected to this point. So if you added another one like over here, so like 116, and you actually select it, it's connected to that node. It's not over here where you thought it was, it's actually connected to this node. So you gotta watch out for that. You gotta make sure that when you're adding the places, the stop point for the house number or the RPP is exactly where it needs to be at the driveway or the post box. But most of the time you can't really see the post box, but the driveway is usually preferable. But yeah, so for an example for that, we'd be lost. So I do have one, if I can find it. Hold up. I do have one because we're going to get super advanced real quick. We're going to get super advanced real quick. So I want to go to my bookmarks. We're going to get HN fixed. And as you guys can see, we zoomed over to St. Louis. And as you can see, if we turn on just house numbers, everything looks fine. But it's really not. It's really not. And you want to know why it's not? Because on this other script, which is house number points, you can see exactly what I'm saying. What someone did, we call this, well, me and my mentor, we call this fireworks because it goes from one point and it fireworks from one point to the other. For some reason, when they added these points, it got locked in at that road. Okay, so this is, yeah, so court. So for some reason, this road right here, they were editing this road right here. So if I go over here, hit edit house numbers, you can see all the house numbers that are lit up that are a part of this street right here. This whole entire segment that's collected. All of these numbers are connected to this one specific road when it's not supposed to be like that. So when I look for correcting things and I see fireworks like this, you know it's wrong. Like these numbers over here. So what they did was they just selected this and just added them in there. And I'm thinking, oh well, the house number is connected to this one because it's right here, because the stop point's right here. No, the stop point is right here. So when someone navigates and says they want to go to 203, it's gonna take them over here and not right there. You know what I'm saying? And then you could have also seen this without the other two. If you were to go through without the script, if you were to hit that, it would show you the line. If you hit that, it shows you the line. Everything is connected to that. But with this other script, we can actually see exactly where everything is pointed to. And the red ones means that the number was added it was imported into Waze, but it wasn't properly added. And the yellow ones means that they were forced, or is it orange? Yes, orange and yellow means they were forced onto the map, meaning you added the address, but for some reason it's not like coinciding with the address numbers, so it makes it yellow. Now, if it's white, if I can find one that's white, okay, so it's yellow means it's fine. Yellow means it's fine. Orange means it was forced, and I know red it means basically it's definitely wrong. So for instance, like this one, so we're gonna clean up this map right here. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna do a little magic. We're gonna hit edit. And just to fix all this up and look nice and dandy, I'm going to hit. Now this I wouldn't do unless you know what you're doing, but I'm gonna clean it up right now. So I got a script and as a bookmarklet that basically clears all of the house numbers that are attached to a segment. Boom, they all got yeeted off the map. And then we'll hit save. So then all those house numbers are no longer there. Okay. And then now we're gonna go through and we're gonna actually add every single house number. 5, 1, 2, 6, 10, 15, 15. And see, you can click it back over here, and next you can move this module right there. Boop, right there. That's 9. Now when we go to save it, yeah, it's saying that these are invalid. That's because of the old one. You see where some of them are white and some of them are orange because that's forced. But none of them are red anymore. So end of that one. And then we're going to come over here and add the house numbers to this one. 257, 253, 249, 135. Okay, so now you can see all of the house numbers are all added to, actually, hold up. 4. Now all of the house numbers are added correctly on the map. Now we can hit save anyways. Because for some reason it's saying one of the two of the numbers are wrong, which they're not. But see, all of them are all lit up white, except for that one. For some reason that one was forced, which is the same number. Actually, 190 should go there. That one's going to be forced too. But, so now we got all of the house numbers correctly. Now it doesn't look like a freaking firework over here. And we have officially fixed the map. Now, the house numbers, they get updated at a later time. They have their own schedule. They don't get updated on the same tile schedule as everything else. But you can see that there was an RPP over here that someone had made because probably due to the fact that we had the firework issue and everything was connected to this node right here on this street right here. It was probably telling everybody to stop over here or something or the other, or it just wasn't doing it right properly. So you can see the street name and address, see the house picture that someone uploaded. We have to make sure that we have a stop point right there. Make sure we lock it to level 3 because it's a level 3 for RPPs. We hit save and then boom. So anybody, now the RPPs are pretty much instant. So now if someone reviews the research for this, again, as long as their search history was cleared, because they'll still use the old information. But as long as it's like a brand new search that they've never searched it before, it'll actually stop them right here, right where it's supposed to be. So yeah, hopefully you guys understand and see how things work like that. So if you don't have a script, like I said, you can actually still, if you want to make sure that the place that you're trying to edit and make sure that the house is going where it's supposed to be going, let me turn off the script. And you want to make sure it's lined up where it's supposed to be, you can actually just click on the number and make sure that the line where it stops at is exactly where you want it to be. And if it's not, you can move it like that to be exactly where it needs to be. And in some cases, if the house numbers aren't still working properly for somebody, you can add an RPP on top, kind of like with this one, where it has a house number and RPP, which is fine. It can have both. But normally, if you're making a road and you know it has an address, and if you can add all the addresses yourself, it's best to do that, because then when the cycle goes through, the first cycle it'll create the road, and then the second cycle it'll add the house numbers to the street. So then when someone needs to navigate to that street, it'll have both the house numbers and the street name properly. Plus, plus the street will also have the correct city and state and all that other stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one and learned a lot from this one and know when to use an RPP and when not to use an RPP and when to use a house number. But yeah, just don't spam RPPs all over the place because they will throttle you. So just try to make sure that you're using house numbers when it's appropriate and when to use RPPs when you know they need to be used. So I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye.